Trixie, by the way, as promised, I completed the list of furry pride anime and sent it to you over Discord messages. Okay, let's read that right away. So we've got 40 people here right now, which is pretty big for me. To the furry. Oh my god, this is a very detailed. You got fucking gifts in here. What the fuck? This is only furries. Only a furry could have made this. What is it with? Why are furries like this? Why are all furries like the most over the top, like industrious, like fucking engineers in the world? What is it with furries and engineering? I don't understand. Why are you all so technical? This is why I'm not sure if I'm really truly a furry, because I don't have the, well, that's not true. That's not true. I am like this. I do have documents like this. I made that fucking chart just the other day. Never mind. I get it. I'm here with you, furries. I understand. Trixie's Furry Pride anime. Call the video anything you want. This is just a placeholder title based on the concept you said on stream. I'm going to read all the notes out loud also. This is a spreadsheet of furry anime I've fully completed containing furry characters. Special attention giving to works with furry pride elements. Furry characters who feel appropriate for Pride Month. The Why It Is Furry section explains every character who could be viewed as a furry, and the Why Is It Pride section explains the pride elements. You probably did not need me to explain this. You wrote all this today? I asked for this today. This is 7 pages with images and like text breaks and shit. This is like a whole magazine. You literally made like a whole fucking magazine article in a day. This is more effort than anyone is putting into making Otaku USA right now. And this was just generated today. Somebody should be paying you for this. Anyway, anime KO Beast. Why is it furry? I've seen the first episode of this and it is very fun. This is totally forgotten early Gainax work from the 90s. It's like a 5-episode OVA. This OVA was created in collaboration between Hiroshi Nagishi and his studio G-Room, their earlier show NG Night Ramune, also having lots of furry and pride vibes, linked to a part in Kaiser Beam's video explaining the history better here. And also beyond that, this OVA is also partially animated by Gainax, who seem mostly to contribute animation to the early episodes. A cast of 4 anthro-animal warriors, who each can transform between human and furry form, more explanation of that in the pride section. There's Juan the tiger, Bud the rooster, Maymur the mermaid, and Tuttle the turtle. Other side characters with big furry energy are Akumako, who basically looks like an Impmon if they were a waifu. I don't even know what an Impmon is. Impmon? She is a cute little imp who is a part of the show's Team Rocket-esque villain trio, though this actually predates Pokemon. That didn't stop... That's right, it was like 95, I think. That didn't stop the English dub from constantly referencing Pokemon, though. That is really funny. That's one of those weird time paradox
like a
things.
Human being. The reason for this is because KO Beast wasn't...
I highly recommend Kaiser Beams, by the way. The Kyoto video series is some of the most in-depth historical content on anime, going back through all kinds of classics. So if you're not already, you should be. Okay. Beyond all that previously mentioned furry pride energy, there's also the fact that this is just extremely gay. Okay, so each of the 3 furry protagonists have human forms, but in order for them to transform between forms, they each have certain triggers. Sneezing does it for the tiger boy, and for Bud the chicken, he transforms when he is shocked. I've known people with these fetishes, so I can see how this ties in. And Tiger Boy really likes to surprise kiss him in order to cause that. Again, the only requirement to transform Bud into his chicken form is just to shock him, but it's always kissing for some reason. All right, next up, we've got Seventh Prince. Hey, I watched the first episode of this yesterday. I didn't pick up on too much furry. I guess the little guy, he does look like every goat furry I've ever seen. One of the most popular currently airing furry anime I know of, this series features Grimoire as one of its main characters. He is only described as an ancient monster who had once attacked the kingdom but was sealed in a book. Our main boy Lloyd frees him, and after the two have a little magic battle, which Grim loses, Grim offers himself to be Lloyd's familiar. Upon becoming his familiar, Grim decides to take on a cute mascot form to not raise suspicion. The buff, furry, appealing true form of Grim that we saw in episode 1 is voiced by Akio Otsuka, who you probably know as Bato from Ghost in the Shell, and his equally furry, appealing IMO cute mascot form is voiced by Rose Eye Power from Chainsaw Man. By the way, Grim's English dub voice is Perfect Cell. So yeah, this is more... There's a prominent furry character, but this doesn't strike me as like outwardly just like being furry the way that KO Beast does. But I could see... This character, obviously, yeah, this will appeal to certain people tremendously. All right, Yes Precure 5, Yes Precure 5 Go Go, and Otona Precure. Furry couples explained from left to right. Karen, the blue girl, and Milk the rabbit. They are a Yuri couple made canon in Otona Precure 2023, but hinted heavily even from the start. The Yes Precure 5 saga is my go-to recommendation for anyone looking for furry romance stories. This series has literally 4 separate romantic couples between very cute-looking furry mascots and their magical girl partners. That's right. I forgot about this because I haven't ever seen this. I haven't seen most of Precure, but my ex was watching it episode by episode while doing daily runs and told me all about this. And yeah, in Yes Precure, the mascots like transform into humans that are the same ages as like the girls, and they just like date. And I thought that was incredibly fucking strange conceptually. I have not seen the show myself, but it just seems wild of an idea to me that like the magical girls are dating their mascots. That's how this is. The series has 4 separate romantic couples between very cute, furry-looking mascots, their magical girl partners. One of these couples is even a Yuri couple, and they are basically canon. More details in the Pride section. The main focus on furry couple is between the furry mascot Coco and the main magical girl Nozomi. The two had lots of romantic scenes together in the OG Yes Precure 5 and its 2008 sequel. However, what truly sailed the ship was when the head writer of the Yes 5 seasons, Yoshimi Narita, returned to Precure, and she rounded out her trilogy with the adult-oriented spin-off Otona Precure 2023 with all the characters grown up as adults. In Otona Precure, the main furry and human ship, Nozomi and Coco got married. She's literally married to the fucking mascot. All right, so continuing on the relationship side here that I missed. Komachi, the green girl, and Nuts, the squirrel, they both have feelings for each other, but it was not made canon, more just a mutual crush. Nozomi, the pink girl, and Coco, the fennec fox, 100% canon, heavily hinted at from as early as 2007, and finally got married as adults in 2023. More details to the right. Urara, the yellow girl, and Syrup, the duck, basically canon. They are both the youngest of the group, so they always just had a mutual young crush. But when we saw them as 18-year-olds in 2023's Otona Precure, they sang a song together and blushed at each other. Rin, the red girl, still alone, ... But she did fall in love with the ghost in one episode. God bare, dude. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, now time to jump into the Yuri ship I kept teasing. It's Karen x Milk. Karen is one of the main magical girls of the show, and basically Milk becomes her partner. At the start, Milk is very weak and not able to transform into human form, unlike all the other furry characters who can transform into human disguises to easily fit in with the human world. Because Milk basically constantly needs to be hid from the public view, she relies a lot on Karen. By the time of the second season, Yes Precure 5 Go Go, Milk finally became strong enough to turn into a human form, meaning Milk went to school with her every day. Things finally sailed when in the spin-off Otona Precure 2023, we saw them as adults, and Milk actually decided to stay in her human form on Earth, working a day job and frequently sleeping nights at Karen's house, where this scene happened. Yeah, I would say that's pretty Yuri. I mean, that's at least as gay as Nanoha and Fate. Grimoire of Zero. This one is pretty straightforward. Basically, it's a fantasy action series with light comedy elements. Think like reminiscent of Slayers, but with a lot more grimdark elements. Some people call this furry berserk because the dark elements come straight the fuck out of nowhere. Okay, so as a start, in this world, furries are actually birth defects that were... Well, I mean, in Berserk, the darkness does not come out of nowhere. It's evident from chapter 1, but whatever. Okay, so as a start, in this world, furries are actually birth defects that were created by witches as a way to punish humans for burning them at the stake. Oh, and so the main dude was born as a beast fallen, their name for furry. This wouldn't be so bad, but witches also like to harvest the beast fallen's guts to make themselves more powerful. Well, that sucks. So Tiger Bro is constantly getting hunted down every day. If that wasn't bad enough, one of the witches, one of the most powerful ones, is a cute girl named Zero, and she has a crush on him and wants him to team up with her and travel the world. How wacky. Oh, also randomly, one of the other furry side characters named Hold'em is introduced via buying a witch to be his slave. But don't worry, Hold'em didn't actually buy the witch slave because he's a bad or anything. He was doing it so he could find his master, who is a young witch girl. In other words, basically buying witch slaves to ask them for information on how to find his own witch, ? Fucking bizarre anime, lol, but very good if you can accept the Studio White Fox's C-Team Jake animation. I probably can't. I probably cannot handle that, but sounds funny. Okay, so as previously mentioned, furries are an entire race in this anime, so there's lots of them just wandering the world and stuff. The main tiger dude could basically be described to be a furry tiger version of Guts. He does have a romance with the cute witch girl, Zero. Basically, Zero is a witch who gave up her ability to grow up, so she looks like a cute girl, but she's like 25. Okay, great. They're a cute couple, I'd say. By the way, the original 25, like she couldn't just... This character could not, like, you couldn't tell me this character was 25 and I'd be like, no, that's impossible. She doesn't look 25 at all. She's definitely 17. Like, I just... Why wouldn't she be like 250 if you're going to do that? By the way, the original light novels that this anime are based on are written by a woman named Kakeru Kobashiri. She actually got her start as a writer on a mobile gacha game visual novel called Tokyo After School Summoners. Now, sadly, Tokyo After School Summoners does not have an anime, so I can't include it here, but basically it's the furriest, pridest thing ever. It is literally a gacha game where you collect buff furry party members and can romance them in visual novel segments. Also, all the furries are designed by gay furry artists from Pixiv. I'm hoping Summoners gets an anime adaptation. Neat. Good to know about. BNA, of course. I don't remember much about the series, to be honest. It's been a few years now since I watched it. I still haven't seen BNA on its release. All I remember is having a crush on Shiro. It's definitely good and definitely very furry. It seems every furry I meet is either attracted to Michiru or Shiro, or if they're pansexual, both. Okay, so one thing I do remember is that Shiro was kind of like in a buddy cop dynamic with Michiru. She was like the new recruit. He was more experienced. So naturally, they have a huge fandom shipping him. I do know that Studio Trigger have released official art heavily hinted at the ship. I don't even remember this show, but it was good for sure. I mean, I remember the show being very controversial when it came out. Everybody, that's pretty racy. I didn't expect her to be like naked in it. Yeah, everybody either really liked or really hated BNA from what I saw. I think my brother Victor did a whole video defending BNA though. I included it in my video about anime getting mediocre. I assume you're talking about Grimoire of Zero. Well, that edit was done by Devu. There were lots of anime in there I don't even think I had seen. Anyway, Beastars. This is another one I hardly remember. I did finish all of season 1 and 2, but like I'm not sure why, but somehow shows that I watched years ago, like Brigadoon, stick with me more than this new stuff. I don't know why, lol. Okay, so beyond the fact that there's a lot of content here made to appeal to furry fans, both of the man service and fan service variety, there's also the fact that the show seems to heavily tease some gay tension between Louis and Legoshi. Speaking as a furry myself, I see a huge fan of the ships, these two, but I also see an equally large fan of the ship, Legoshi and Jack. Being a furry in 2020, I can confirm this gif was everywhere. Yeah, as a Beastars fan myself, I could say tons and tons of ships, tons of possible ships in this show. And it plays around with the relationships a lot so that even canonically, there's more than one people that it's hard to like support any one couple completely because their relationships are so complicated. Beastars is very good. I could definitely co-sign. Big fan. Escaflowne, I forgot there even was a furry character in this show, but there are actually a few. The most prominent furry character of the Escaflowne TV series would be, of course, the cat girl Merle, who loves Van, but there's a second furry character who I think is equally important. Most people don't remember his name, but he is named Jajuka. I remember making fun of that name when I first saw the movie, when I was like 12. I was like geeking on there being somebody named Jajuka. And he looks like this. If you don't remember him from the show, basically he plays a critical role in helping the maniacal Dillendow to finally stop their rampage. Basically, Jajuko is Dillendow's caretaker back when he was a young girl. And towards the end of the series, when Van is about to kill Dillendow, Jajuko steps in and takes the blow and dies instead. As he died in Dillendow's arms, his final words was what caused Dillendow to remember their past back as a girl. So as mentioned, there's the character of Merle, and there's also the very underrated character of Jajuka. And if you interpret Dillendow as being male, then it's easy to read some gay tragedy between Jajuka and Dillendow or something. I don't know how to word these things. Yeah, I need to rewatch Escaflowne because I remember being really fascinated by Dillendow's like gender dynamics. And I don't remember if they end the series like Dillendow. What is it, like Direndoru or something? Probably Direndoru. Dawn of the Witch. Dawn of the Witch is a spin-off sequel thing to Grimoire of Zero. It takes place after the events of Grimoire, after the furry and witch power couple managed to stop the war between witches and humankind. The series starts off really strong, confirming that the main villain who profited off the war back in Grimoire literally got executed. Pretty badass way to open a show, and made it clear that the sequel was going to be just as dark as Grimoire was. But that was a bait and switch. Zero and her tiger boyfriend aren't actually the main characters. Instead, this show is about a school of magic users. Oh god. This show got pretty trashed in the reviews due to the disappointed Grimoire fans who felt like this was a bait and switch, but if you can get past that element, it's a decent show. The main character this time around is a human boy named Saybil, who goes on a magical adventure with a team of 3 other characters. His elf teacher who looks like a lolly but is 100, his red-headed childhood friend, and lastly a lizard furry who used to bully him in school but now has to team up with him. The cast of the original Grimoire appear from time to time and have a few badass or wholesome moments. We get to see the continued romance of the witch girl Zero and her tiger husbando. Zero finally managed to break that spell that kept her from aging, so now Zero finally looks her age. We also got to see her and her tiger hubby flirt and stuff. As for gay content, why yes there is. Dawn of the Witch is a sequel to Grimoire of Zero, as previously mentioned, but our favorite witch and tiger duo takes a bit of a backseat to give these new Magic Academy students a chance to shine. Our protagonist is your typical overpowered harem lead named Sabil. He has an adventuring party with his red-headed childhood friend who loves him, his elf girl teacher who also loves him, and the lizard jock Kudo who used to bully him in school and who would never admit it, but definitely has a crush on him. This scene from the screenshot occurs when the Jock Lizard gets too cocky in battle and gets injured. Because Sable is so overpowered, it of course falls on him to heal his lizard party member. The elf teacher suggests that the best way to transfer magic to heal someone is through a kiss. Since the main character is so chill and deadpan and down for anything, he nearly agrees to do it, but they end up getting interrupted. True lizard Tsundere, he even dropped the classic "I don't like you" or anything line. We also get a line in the Great Baths episode, of course there's a bath episode, where lizard Tsundere catches Sable when his towel falls off, and upon seeing what Sable is rocking, he says, "Whoa, that's more of a monster than me." Very interesting show. Yeah, that sounds hilarious. I appreciate the detail. Hyper Police. I've read the first few volumes of this manga, and I have to say, this main girl from Hyper Police is, in my opinion, like top 5 hottest character designs all time, hands down. Like, just absolutely exhaustingly attractive. Looking at her makes my brain spin. The manga is not really that good, and neither is the anime. But from what I've seen, and she doesn't look as hot in the anime. That's probably the biggest problem with it. But god damn, she's so fucking hot in the manga. This is probably the most straightforward to explain. It's basically a police procedural comparable to like Dominion Take Police or Ghost in the Shell manga version, except the entire main cast is made of furries. The main cast is comprised of Green Girl Natsuki, she's a half Nekomata, and her friend Sakura, the Kitsune girl, as well as Bataten, a high-ranking officer with the police. His age is like 2 times that of Natsuki, but you better believe he has a crush on her. And lastly, the adorable Tommy. Tommy is a werewolf, and without a doubt, the most furry member of the main cast. Tommy stands out as being the most distinctly furry of the main cast, as the rest of the cast look more like humans with animal ears. As mentioned previously, there is a fairly obviously ship of Natsuki and Bataten. Because Natsuki is like half his age, she doesn't seem to notice how in love with her he is, leading to many comedic misunderstandings. I have watched all of the anime, but then read the manga as well, as I heard it was better. I have not finished the manga yet, but I definitely plan to. I have heard that just about everyone in the cast ends up romantically involved with someone at the end. I also heard an amazing spoiler that Tommy, the previously mentioned best and furriest member of the cast, actually ends up with Poe, that mage lady who was around his age and always giving him a rough time for being so silly. Well, yeah, apparently those two hooked up and had 19 kids. Damn. I also remember in this manga, the characters just like very casually fucking. Tell me if I'm wrong about that, but I remember there being parts where like just because they're kind of, it's like explained that because they're animals, they just will fuck. Like, and I remember it happening, me being like, whoa, you know, kind of blown away by that, but it's but appreciative. Very sexy manga, even though I don't think it's necessarily that good. So yeah, thank you for the Furry Pride anime video. Or Luna, if you want, you can go ahead and clip that. I would recommend probably editing it a little bit to cut around the mistakes or asides. If you want to put it on your channel, I'll probably re-upload it to mine just for the signal boost, but you can also have it. Since you wrote it, literally wrote it. I just read it. Turned it to video form. All right. That was fun.